Hello and welcome back to the Muscle Engineer Podcast. I am, as always, your host, Sotak Andrei, and you are listening to a special episode. As you are probably all aware, wherever you're listening from, the coronavirus has probably reached your country and your city. So, this is, of course, going to be a special episode. I have with me Ábel, Csabai, my fellow podcaster from the Sustainable Self-Development Podcast, fellow coach and a friend. And in this episode, we sat down to sort of, clear our minds a bit. We went through the coronavirus situation in our respective countries. We discussed our training and diet plans for the upcoming weeks and probably months. And we talked a bit of banter. It was a bit of a laid-back episode. It's not structured by any chance, so I won't be doing timestamps and that sort of stuff. It's going to be a free-flowing conversation. Before we get into the episode, however, I would like to say that if you've been thinking about hiring me for online coaching, now would be the time, because given the situation we're in, and given that gyms have been closed off in Romania as well, and I pretty much lost all of my income, suddenly you would be able to hire me at a rate that pretty much is guaranteed to never be this low. So if you would like a coronavirus discount for online coaching, hit me up and we can talk further about that. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into this coronavirus special episode with Abel, Csabai.
All right, everybody. I am here with my buddy Sotak Andrei from the Muscle Engineer podcast, and my podcast is the SSD podcast, but I'm guessing that this will go up on both platforms, so I don't even know which podcast this is really. But hey, Andrei, how are you doing?
I've been better. I would say I'm very good, but I'm not very good. So I am actually just recovering from a cold. It's not the coronavirus, but as far as I'm concerned, it actually could be. So who knows? These are very disturbing times indeed.
Yeah. It is definitely a time that probably nobody who is listening to this podcast has ever experienced anything alike. I mean, there's many angles through which we can approach this whole topic, but I think that might be the first one to acknowledge that, we had a pretty peaceful life up until now. We, for the most part, grew up in a fairly peaceful world. We didn't have wars, at least in the areas of the world where we live in. We didn't really have any kind of big epidemic in terms of disease. And I think this time that we are going through now is giving us an idea of how life must have been before for the previous generations who have gone through a lot of things like this. But yeah, it is definitely the most frustrating, and I don't even know the English phrase for this, but I just feel like not in control, like I'm not in control of things, which is very disempowering. So yeah, it's an interesting time to go through for sure. So hopefully we will be able to contribute something to this whole discussion that's going around on the internet about coronavirus. So I don't even know, maybe let's start there, where you're living, what's going on at the moment, how bad is this?
I honestly think it hasn't even started. People right now are just starting to grasp the notion that this is actually serious. For the longest time, I heard about this sometime back in January, and I was really concerned. I remember telling this to my mom, and she was like, "Well, why do you even care? Because it's in fucking China. We're not in China." And I was like, "Yeah, but there's things called airplanes and international flights and all that stuff." So I knew that eventually it will get here. Now I wasn't quite sure how serious this is going to be. So I think this is the starting point. It's 15th of March as of today. Starting from tomorrow, the Prime Minister or the whatever Johannes has declared a state of emergency. So we don't really know what that means. What we do know is that definitely nothing above 100 people is allowed, so no concerts or anything like that. Of course, football matches and stuff have been, without play, or have been played for a while without any crowd or people in attendance, but everything pretty much has been cancelled. As of today, in stores, only 20 people are allowed inside at the same time. So that means that I haven't been to a big supermarket, so I don't know how bad that looks over there. But even in a small, relatively small store, people are basically waiting outside the door, and there's depending on the time of the day, a smaller or larger queue going on. So it's quite an interesting phenomenon. Toilet paper, it's not as bad. Like I was able to buy, and there was plenty left. So I think it's a bigger problem in the US. Interestingly enough, we seem to have run short of flour and oil and sugar, which I don't know. I was joking that Romanians seem to have found a cure, some sort of kozonak or kolac based diet. Or cake for the English listeners, some cake-based diet. Apparently, they believe that will cure them or prevent the coronavirus. Otherwise, I can explain why they buy, flour and oil and sugar and stuff in such a huge amount. But who knows? So that's how it's been in the past few days. The really bad news is that gyms are closing. So like I said to you, starting tomorrow, our gym is closed as well. Other gyms have started closing maybe 3 days ago, 4 days ago, something like that. But even if we didn't close voluntarily, because this was voluntary, I would imagine that by the end of the week, the government would have forced us to close. I imagine that by the end of next week, everything will be closed. So, I honestly think that even as of today, leaving supermarkets and malls and stuff open, no supermarkets, I mean, these huge malls and restaurants and these I don't even know what the term is. It's not a casino because this casino is bigger. I'm sure you have these spaces where people go and gamble. There's plenty of them. There's pretty much one in every 50 meters. Like, they are still open. People are still going there and smoking, and it's nothing's going on. So like I said, I think it hasn't even started. The bed hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is. The situation is very similar here, so I won't even go through everything in detail. The main thing, of course, is the gyms are closed here as well. It started a little bit earlier here, so it started. So on Friday, things were not open anymore. But it is crazy to me how I'm surprised myself how late I started worrying. Like, even when I heard the news that the coronavirus popped up in Italy, still then I didn't even bat an eye, really. And then kind of just slowly started to dawn on me that, well, the European Union or Europe in general is basically one big country. So if it happens in Italy, it will happen here soon as well and everywhere. And it's really funny how, only now am I starting to kind of accept, or I'm coming to terms with the fact that it is really that bad. Because anytime something like this happened earlier, like maybe there was, we had flus and some viruses that have, gone around before, or you read these scary things all the time, like, I don't know, the Third World War is starting, or whatever, this American Illuminati is planning on attacking the world, or this and that. And you read these things, and then you talk to someone who is researching these things, or some smart person is going to talk in the media, and they're going to kind of calm you down that, look, don't freak out, this is kind of bullshit. And for a long time, I was still kind of going up on news sites, waiting for that one piece of good news, like, there are all these news sites, and I'm waiting for someone to say something that is encouraging. And it's just incredibly depressing to go up there every morning and see that things are just getting gradually worse and worse. And even now, like Carl Junot, fitness professional, I don't know, smart guy, I guess, was on my podcast before, and he just posted something that, I'm illustrating things on this chart, like how things are moving and how the coronavirus is spreading. And I was like reading, and I was waiting for that punchline of, it looks like things are slowing down or something. I was waiting for the positive ending, and the final sentence is, it's not looking good. It's like, fuck. And, like all of us, you and I have been talking about how incredibly irresponsible a lot of the fit pros are, for example, with their, how they downplayed this whole thing and they were making fun of it. And not even fit pros, like even Elon Musk tweeted that this whole coronavirus hysteria is dumb. And when you read that, it's kind of reassuring that, okay, like he is a pretty fucking smart guy. He knows what's going on in the world. If he says it, then that's good enough for me. It's almost like that was my mindset. And now, like, everybody's gradually admitting to the fact that, yeah, guys, this really is that bad. So it is a dark period for sure.
Yeah, I speaking of what you mentioned about people being, I don't know if sarcastic, or the whole the boy who cried wolf. So basically they are referring to, or the acting as if they are the guys who are watching the boy cry wolf, and they are like, we have been told previously that, like you said yourself, that this isn't the first virus, and why are they panicking, and we have been through this and the swine flu and this and that, and people don't understand. I mean, Thursday and Friday I was at home because, like I said, I was having a bit of cold, so I spent pretty much both of the days just listening to stuff from reputable sources. I listened to the Joe Rogan number 1439, with Michael Osterholm, which probably many people have already listened to it by this point. I listened to it twice back to back. That's what really woke me up. Sam Harris did 2 episodes, number 190 and number 191, off the top of my head. So you can look both those episodes up, and you'll find some very good information. But yeah, so I have, as far as I know, like a good overview of what the situation is, and like the response has been, like, aside from the idiots who we're comparing it to obesity and pretty much don't understand what exponential growth curve looks like they are pretty much comparing a static syndrome, and as far as it's they are comparing a non-communicable disease with something that can spread. So that's dumb. But aside from that, like the actual virus, I've seen the responses go from, oh my goodness, this is the end of the world, which is not. It might be the end of the world as we know it, though, which, who knows? Hopefully it isn't, but it might be for a while. But it went from that to, we have been through other viruses, and why is this different? And it's different because it's pretty much very contagious, insofar it's not very, it's not a very high severity, I think, or rather doesn't carry huge risk for most people. However, it spreads very, very fast. And of course, I have to preface this, that this is not medical advice, and this is just me thinking out loud, and I'm an idiot, so listen to the people I mentioned previously, don't listen to me, don't take advice. It's just, I'm trying to sort of clarify the situation for myself mostly. So the thing is, from what I understood, like there's basically a reverse relationship between deadliness and capacity to spread. So basically a virus that is very deadly, something like Ebola, which as far as I know kills like 80-something% of people, doesn't spread because, people die and there's no one left to spread it. Whereas on the coronavirus, this new coronavirus, the COVID-19 or SARS-2, however it's called, it's not very deadly, and that's exactly why it can spread so fast, because people are spreading it without being symptomatic themselves. So that's the big issue with someone who is our age, someone, is in teens and 20s. Like, even my colleague, I was trying to explain to him yesterday that, this is serious. He was like, do you think I'm afraid of a shitty virus? And I was like, I know you're not, and you shouldn't be for yourself, but, maybe your grandfather, who is like 90-something years old, maybe he won't be so lucky, like maybe he won't be so resilient. And that's the really irresponsible response I see in Romania, especially the youngsters. They pretty much go about their lives like nothing has happened, because they only understand that, okay, so how serious it is? Am I going to die? No? Sweet. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like pretty much that's the response from many people, and that's not the point. Like at this point, people are trying to, I'm sure many have seen it, there has been an image graph has been shared, with the flatten the curve or flatten the curve concept, and how it would look if we didn't achieve that. So basically what they are trying to do is avoid or slow down spread, so the hospitals are not overwhelmed, and Imagine, that's what I was trying to illustrate to people. Imagine, like they were saying, maybe 0.1% people will die or whatever. Let's say a percent. Like there's 20 million people in Romania. A percent of that is 200,000. Even if 200,000 people necessitate, hospitalization is required for them, like hospitals are going to be overwhelmed, and the the intensive care units, the stuff that that happens regardless, car accidents and heart attacks and this and that won't stop. Or maybe car accidents will slow down because people are not really driving that much.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like, it's not like everything else will just stop and there will be only coronavirus. There will be everything that's been going on for until now, plus a bunch of coronavirus patients. And that's the really worrying part. Not to mention the people who are being stuck at home with children and stuff. So the economic situation, that's really what worries me, not necessarily the fact that I am going to get sick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's that was the one thing that was made clear from the get-go, that the real risk in this is not that you're gonna die. The real risk in this whole virus thing is that life is just gonna stop, and that's exactly what we are experiencing now. And the reason behind that is, like you said, it's just, I mean, you can see it in Italy. I mean, some pretty horrific news came out from there that basically they have to choose between, which patient is going to get saved. And there are people waiting out there in the waiting room, and they already need oxygen, and there are just not enough beds and not enough, like, breathing, how do you call them, breathing machines, whatever, to help them.
They need ventilation. I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is really messed up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's interesting situation because like I was discussing this before we started recording, that I'm pretty much worried about rent and stuff. I've seen people complain that, oh my goodness, what do you mean I have to stay home? What am I going to do? I'm going to be so bored. And meanwhile I'm like, where exactly am I going to stay if I don't get any income? Like this is a real situation. Like I don't know if I told you this or not, but in the village, where I grew up, there is someone who came home from Italy, and he is suspect. Like, where how it is. Everyone who comes from Italy is suspect, and as far as I know, he hasn't been tested. I don't even know if he has been to a hospital or not. From as far as I've heard, he's just been going on and about his day. So there is a real possibility that the whole village will be locked down. So even if I wanted to leave, I couldn't get in. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, in compared to that, obviously the fitness situation is a much smaller one, but still, us fitness people are very much impacted by it.
Yeah, it is just I mean, the age-old cliche. It's such an old cliche that it's almost embarrassing to bring it up, but what you say about you don't appreciate things until they get taken away. And it's really funny, like, now that we have this shitty situation and we don't know how long we are going to have it, these old memories are popping up into my head, which I didn't even think of them as something special so far. It was just like, whatever, just one out of a million memories in my head. And now this one memory from last year keeps popping into my mind, where it was nothing special, just a typical Saturday where I went to the gym, then came home, met up with my girlfriend. We drove to a town nearby, went to a restaurant, came back, then went to the cinema, watched some movie, and then at night I met up with some other people. But it was really nothing special. And I'm just thinking that wow, like, God knows how long until we can have that luxury of just, going to places, have a meal somewhere, just walk around in the city. Like, it is just insane that, and now that we don't have it, they just seem like such precious things. So I'm not saying that that's a positive thing that came out of this, but an interesting thing nevertheless.
Yeah, pretty much that's my silver lining, or what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking about when I get really down is that everything is going to be fine, and the upside of this whole situation is going to be that people will start appreciating their health more, first and foremost, because people who are healthier have fewer risks of getting into serious condition with this whole virus and some other viruses that might pop up in the future. Also, people who complain about, oh my God, I have to go to the gym. Oh, I don't want to go to the gym. Maybe this time around they will start appreciating the fact that they can even go. Like, I'm sure you said it, I said it many times, that, oh, well, you're not really, you're stop complaining about being hungry because you chose to diet, you chose to be food deprived. And, and right now there is a really serious concern for many people that, yes, they indeed will have to be, so we'll have to go to bed hungry because perhaps they will have, they won't have enough money to buy food for, for a time. So that's a really, really different situation and a different perspective. So yeah, I just hope that everything will work out fine, and we will all come out better for it.
Yeah. Well, amen to that.
Okay, so
go.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that perhaps we should. This has been the idiots talking about the epidemiology of coronavirus.
Yeah.
Let's now talk about implementable stuff. So, first off, like, how long do you estimate this whole situation is going to last?
So there is like the pie in the sky, like rosy imagination, which is like, I realize that that's not going to happen, but just the gym as a benchmark, because that's kind of symbolizes everything that is stopping in life right now. So I know that my gym is not going to open in 2 weeks, which is what's announced on the website. So I know that that's not going to happen. I guess something that would already be bad, but still pretty optimistic, is maybe something like 2 months. I know that it's not really true that the warm weather is just going to kill the virus. I know it's not how it's working. But I am hoping that it's maybe going to make things a little bit better. So maybe, in like 2 months, 2-3 months, when the weather will be nicer, maybe by then we will be past like the worst. So I'm expecting that maybe in a month, things will like hit rock bottom for most places.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's still going to be bad, but then like gradually like kind of improving. So maybe in 2-3 months, it's going to be like still not as it was before, but just like a livable way to be, So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And then like a very pessimistic is like in 6 months, we will be like back to somewhat normal. That would be like a pretty bad scenario in my mind.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I had in mind as well. Like, at first I was hearing, these people, the bro science basically equivalent of people were pretty much dismissing it altogether, like, oh, nothing to worry about. I mean, the hot weather is going to destroy it for sure. I was like, oh yeah, sweet, that's cool. And then I listened to someone who's actually the Osterholm podcast, and he was like, well, we have no idea. Like we had the SARS, which was, I think, which propagated in colder weather, but then we had the MERS in 2007, whenever it was, which pretty much was fine in hot temperature. So pretty much it's anybody's guess what's going to happen.
Yeah, and pretty much now we know that it's not going to get killed in the warm weather, because we do have this virus popping up in pretty hot places as well. So.
Oh, okay, that's lovely. Yeah, what I wanted to say, that there was also this situation of, even if, let's say, it goes away in countries where where it's summer, in Australia it's going to be winter. So
yeah.
That's pretty much half the globe is. There is always one half of the population which can be there is pretty much open for attack. So the best situation from what I heard is either sufficient number of us getting sick and getting over it and developing immunity, which I don't know if you heard, the UK is apparently trying to do that. Apparently they are trying to do the herd immunity theory. They want to apply it. So I don't know if this is accurate, if this is still going on, but I've heard that what they wanted to do is just, let less vulnerable populations get the disease. So, youngsters and stuff and healthy people, let them get the disease, let them get over it and develop immunity. And so they can, by the herd immunity phenomenon, or whatever the technical term is, they can also defend the less healthy or the more vulnerable people. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if that's even going to work. That's one situation. The other is, us postponing it somehow until we develop a vaccine. But I've heard minimum 12 months, more likely 18 months. So that's going to be a long while.
Are scientists that lame? It takes them that long? Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, Donald Trump said that it's nothing to worry about. And then he said that, we are going to have a vaccine soon. And then I heard that some people, some experts said that Mr. Trump or President Trump, this is going to take a while. And he was like, speed it up, come on, speed it up, speed it up. Like the ignorance of that guy is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, another solution for those in the audience that are more wealthy is I read that Cristiano Ronaldo has bought a private island and he's spending his time until the virus is over. So that's always a solution.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Yeah. Or you can, if you have, I mean, if you really have that much money, you can just, buy a gym and move to the gym and all your problems will be sorted out. So
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but for the less fortunate ones, let's get into some, actually applicable and real life solutions. So, Abel, what are you going to do in these, let's say, 2 months or 3 months? How are you going to keep up with your health and fitness goals?
Yeah. Well, I am actually one of those fortunate ones. So I bought my private island already. So
sweet.
I might not be the best person to ask. And I actually recommend the same thing for other people. I mean, I know, people complain that they don't have the money. I'm saying that it's all in your head and you can achieve a lot more if you just want it enough. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. So we're discussing actually with Ábel that this whole virus thing is just a jokes. It's just a hoax, and it's actually just a nocebo effect. So people who are in hospitals, they are fine. They just have imagined the whole situation. They pretty much they don't believe. They lack belief. They lack belief in themselves. They lack belief in God. They lack belief. They just failed as a human being.
Yeah.
So that's why they are being punished. Like this isn't the disease doing this isn't the virus doing its job. It's the lack of belief manifesting itself in the world.
It's all in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's I'm watching a series now called Therapy. And it's about psychology, and now I really know how powerful the human mind can be. So for those who think that this cannot be produced by the human mind, I mean, people imagine all kinds of crazy things. I mean, people see flying saucers on the sky and whatever. Like, I think they are just imagining that they have these breathing problems. And it's like, okay, that's not funny. I'm going to get in trouble for this. Okay, so we were sarcastic, of course, and I don't have a private island. Yeah, so pretty much my plan for this period is... I am first of all, I haven't done anything yet, like home workouts. I did not do anything. I think I will wait like a week, simply because I feel like I need like a bit of a mental reset until I can actually appreciate something as bullshitty as home workouts. Because I don't know, like when you've been going to the gym every day and destroying yourself with really effective movements and heavy weights and whatever, it's just really hard for me mentally not to see doing push-ups at home and using some bullshit bands and things like that as a massive step down, which and objectively, of course, I still know that if I did my home workout today, I would be like a little bit better off than I am now. But I think I just need that kind of reset. So I have not done anything yet. But basically the name of the game for the next God knows how long is to just try to dig as little of a hole for myself as possible. So, whenever I will be able to effectively diet and train again, if I'm not like 10 kilos overweight and a shit ton of muscle less, it will be just that much easier to get back into my best shape. So, it's kind of like just do the best you can with what you have. That will be the name of the game for me. And I think the biggest thing in all of this, and this is actually a mindset issue, unlike the coronavirus, is sometimes you just have to set your mind on appreciating something that is less good than ideal, but is still much better than nothing. And sometimes it's surprising how difficult that can be. So that's kind of my overall approach. How about you?
Yeah. So before getting into that, I just want to express my agreement with you. Like, the worst thing anyone can do is to fall into the nihilistic. Yeah. So fall into that kind of attitude, like, oh well, if I can train with proper weights in a proper gym, then I'm just going to do nothing. I'm going to binge watch Netflix, and I'm just going to get fat. Like, that's the worst attitude you can have. And I actually message my clients, like, okay, by the way, this is another thing that I heard, and I find it a bit cringy. Like, I don't know, I heard some personal trainer aimed or podcast and articles that, solutions you can do as a personal trainer. For example, offer to go to their homes invite them into your home, do workouts together, record yourself on a webcam or, FaceTime and watch them and offer them instructions through a webcam while they do their workouts at home. Like, I was like, maybe there is like literally one person who would go into that, but like my clients for sure, like most of them, if they would have had the inclination to do anything at home, they wouldn't have come to the gym, first of all. And second of all, like, imagine me going, like, me sitting in front of a screen and my client going through their kitchen, and I would be like, okay, so what can we lift? So let's see. You have a glass, you have a jar there. How heavy is that? Not heavy enough. Let's see. You have a chair. Okay. You have a sofa. Okay. There's your dog. How heavy is your dog? Sweet. We are going to do goblet squats with your dog. Like, seriously. Like, I understand the intent, but what I said pretty much to everyone is, listen, it is what it is. The gym is closed. Unfortunately, we will have to, of course, the gym sessions we are going to do them after the gym has been reopened. What I urge you and ask you to do is try to, remain active. If you wish to do some sort of workouts at home, please message me and I will be more than happy to assist you in any way I can. If not, try remaining active, try going for walks and stuff, and most importantly, watch your diet, because, even if you can't really exercise the way you used to, at least you can make sure that your diet doesn't, go to hell as well, and your physique doesn't backslide completely. And I actually had a couple of people who are, just pretty much have to lose fat, and they are pretty much beginners anyway. Listen, you can still make plenty of progress. Like, even if you lose a bit of muscle, if you're 110 kilos, I don't care if you lose a couple of kilos of muscle. Like, seriously, you will be much better off at 100 kilos, even if you lost a kilo or two of extra muscle mass, than if you abandon your diet and you ended up 120 kilos 2 months from now. So,
yeah, it is, and it's and for people like us because for us the biggest thing is that we invested so much into this that sometimes even a week can seem like a long time to, like if sometimes even a day. It's like, I plan my workout today, I cannot go, in normal everyday life, I would get not like super frustrated, but it's kind of a bummer. If I cannot train for a week, I mean, that's like, oof, that was really tough, but if it's like really an unforeseeable amount of time until you cannot train properly, that's really the feelings of, wow, I invested so much into this and now I just have to sit and watch that going away. That's really daunting. But yeah, the sooner you can, and I'm saying this to myself because I will need this mindset going forward, but the sooner you can kind of accept and not ponder about what could be or how things were, but just accept what's happening now and take that as a baseline and look to make things better given your constraints at the moment, the easier it's going to be. And, like, eventually we will have been through this, or we will have gotten through this, and at that point you will be just, so much more glad that you did something. And of course there is always the stupid appeal every once in a while. Even now sometimes I catch myself having these thoughts creeping in which are really silly, that like the epic down transformation and then the epic transformation. So like, okay, now I'm like really not gonna give a shit, but then when I can finally train, then it's gonna be the most epic transformation ever, and then like crazy strict, I won't eat anything except like 150 grams of protein and I'm gonna train my ass off, and woo, but it's stupid.
yeah, don't do that.
Definitely not.
Yeah, so I didn't answer what I plan on doing. So I have a couple of plans. So best case scenario is, this is just between us, of course, no one's going to hear this, but I still have a key. So I might be able to figure out something, and I might be able to sneak in and, still do a couple of workouts. Even if I don't do them every day, if I get 2 workouts in, that would be lovely. That's the best case scenario, and then doing something at home. If that doesn't work out, which probably it won't, especially if situation get worse and we won't be able to go out on the streets and stuff, then what I'm going to do is I'll grab a couple of dumbbells from the gym, bring them home. I have some bands, and pretty much do full body workouts every single day. Like I'll do 100 sets. I don't care. Like I'll just, volume through the roof. Like pretty much I will make up for the intensity with volume. Like Mike Israel will be so proud of me. I'm going to MAV the fuck out of this training volume.
But you started MEV, I hope.
Yeah. So of course, every single day I'm going to add in one more banded push-up. Like, I'm going to start at 10 push-ups, and 3 months from now I will be at 1,000 push-ups per day, and I will do. If anyone has seen One Punch Man, that's what I'm going to become. I'm going to be Saitama in real life. I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups per day. I'm going to do 1,000 squats per day, and I'm going to do a 10-kilometer run every single day. And maybe 3 months from now, my hair will have fallen off and I will be just unstoppable.
Damn. I'm intrigued. I got chills as you were explaining that. I have a couple of tiers in terms of best to worst case scenario. So the best case scenario is that, like I said to you before we started recording, is that I'm going to invent the vaccine in my kitchen, and then I will become both a billionaire and I can finally train and I can buy gyms and islands and whatever. Slightly less best case scenario is I actually just spent a couple of hours with a guy that used to attend my gym, and he's kind of a big shot here in Macedonia, and he's also really bummed that the gyms are closed. So he has some interest in kind of throwing together a home gym and buying some equipment and whatever. So maybe he's gonna do that with my help, because I know more about what's the best stuff to get and whatever. So if that was possible and I could at least go to someone's little private gym 3 times a week, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
If that, since I'm kind of preparing that even if we are going to do that, then maybe shit is gonna really hit the fan here and there will be a complete lockdown. So I won't actually be able to go there. So I will have to literally stay home. So for that case, tomorrow, because most likely tomorrow nothing is gonna get severely locked down yet, I'm gonna buy one of these pull-up bars that you can kind of clip onto your door frames. So you don't have to screw them in. You can just kind of put them up. So I will try out if I can make that work. I'm going to buy I have some resistance bands, but I will buy some stronger ones. And then I think the only thing that I should invest into is just some heavier dumbbells, because the real challenge, really, if you have a pull-up bar and nothing else, you can pretty much train your upper body, not ideally, but pretty damn effectively. Maybe a suspension device, that's the other thing, because those are actually surprisingly cheap. So with that, honestly, like you said, you can always do more push-ups. And it's, if it's really that easy that you can just bang out 50 reps and it's not even slightly difficult, you can just take a backpack and throw in a whole bunch of heavy shit that you find at home, and you can do weighted push-ups, you can do dips, and if you have a pull-up bar, then that's going to cover your lats, your rear delts, biceps. Yeah, so your upper body is not really a problem, the lower body is the big challenge at home. So if I could get some dumbbells, or maybe just one dumbbell that goes up to something like 50 kilos, or 2 20-kilo dumbbells or something like that, then you can do a whole bunch of pistol squats and Bulgarian split squats and some one-legged RDLs,
deadlifts.
Yeah, so then you can do things. And yeah, I would pretty much do the same. So just full body workouts every day, twice a day, upper body in the morning, lower body in the evening, ab training 3 times a day. Why not? If I'm literally not allowed to leave my home, then what the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
And then really, oddly enough, the other thing that I think could really help me not getting sloppy nutritionally while I'm at home is investing into an Xbox One or something, which could distract me so that I'm not occupying myself with eating, since I'm going to be bored out of my mind at home. But I'm probably not going to do that. I have an old Xbox 360, but I only have one game, and I cannot buy old FIFA or old Xbox games here, and I just have this one FIFA game. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much my plans, just trying to get some basic equipment so I can do some basic home workouts, and it would be really, really fucking good if things were not locked down completely, so I could go for some walks and stuff, because then, negative, kind of pessimistic, but I think realistic projection is that in 2-3 months I will have a little bit less muscle, and about the same amount of body fat. And that's really not that bad of a starting spot to, get going again with proper workouts and diet.
Yeah, so diet-wise, I actually do plan on, like I said to you initially, like I do plan on trying to stay in a deficit, mainly because one, eating less costs less money, surprisingly enough. And I know, right? One weird trick to save money: eat less. Shocking.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing, and also, I really said I wanted to get into good shape this summer, but it seems like the universe is against me. Like, there was this picture on the gains. I'm sure you've seen it. That I start getting a hint of an abs, and and the end of the world is coming. Like, seriously, what is wrong with with the universe? Why is it against me? Like, I decide for once to actually get lean out, and we get viruses and shit. But I'm not going to let it distract me. I really do plan on working out as seriously as I can, because I don't just want to downsize and become smaller and weaker. I genuinely want to be leaner, and even if I lose a bit of a muscle, it's not going to be the end of the world. But yeah, I would really like to, drop down maybe another 10 pounds or 4 or 5 kilos. That would be lovely. So I imagine that if I get down to, I don't know, maybe of course everyone is 15%, we know that,
Yeah.
but let's suppose that I am at 15%, plus or minus a couple of percent, mostly plus, but it's not minus. But if I drop down maybe 3% body fat or something like that, maybe 4, that's what, 4 kilos, let's say, with a bit of water and stuff. I shouldn't really lose muscle mass if I train, especially if I do manage to, get some dumbbells and bands and stuff. I really shouldn't lose muscle. And if I lose a bit of muscle from my legs, it's not the end of the world, because my legs are my best body part, and they will come back really fast. So, and nobody cares about legs anyway. So that's really my plan. I don't really plan on eating more than 2 meals per day, simply because I don't really have the necessity for it, especially if my steps will go down. The upside is I will be able to sleep a whole lot. So I plan on sleeping 9+ hours every single night. So okay, that's another upside for people, or something positive they can look at. Now is the time to catch up on sleep. Like, really, you have no excuse for not sleeping 8+ hours every single night. Like, if you are at home and you stay up all night watching movies and then you complain, like, it's your fault. Like, I'm sorry. So I will have to add this on to my clients. This is, by the way, it's a good reminder. Focus on your diet, and also make sure to nail your sleep. And those two will take care of a lot of problems you might face into the future.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, ideally, I would sleep like 16 hours a day, because then this whole thing passes a bit faster.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it that we did not cover yet? I mean, maybe just some specific things that you can do with like pretty limited equipment at home. So like I mentioned, I mean, upper body is probably not going to be a problem, because now it's really useful to just think in movement patterns, not in specific exercises. So you can do push-ups, you can load them just with a little bit of creativity. You can do pull-ups and chin-up variations if you have a pull-up bar, or just any kind of place that you can hang from. And if you get a suspension device, with that you can do a lot of cool stuff. You can do some like body weight, tricep
Note: don't hang yourself from the ceiling with a rope. That's not going to help you.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, actually, I wanted to post a funny thing on Instagram that I've been looking for a pull-up bar, but now finally I found it, and then zoom onto the curtain hanger, like over the window. I'm going to do pull-ups there.
Yeah, I'm going to do one pull-up to failure, if you know what I mean.
Yes. That will be the heaviest pull-up, instant failure during the concentric, like you're not even able to complete it. Yeah, but yeah, so the upper body is pretty much going to be covered, and if you have some dumbbells, then obviously that's going to take care of all the arm stuff. So there's really not that much of an excuse to not keep your upper body pretty much in perfect condition. Like, you may lose some, like whatever, you're not going to be able to hit your side delts optimally because, like with cables, you can create some nice resistance curves and hit the portion of the movement, which will be a bit more problematic with just free weights. But even that, you can kind of adjust your body in different positions. So then really the lower body is the main thing. And then, I mean, if you really want to hit them effectively, I guess you will need some heavy dumbbells. So, like I know a lot of people who can do like Bulgarian split squats and things like that with like 50 kilos in each hand. So that's going to be problematic. But you can go in higher reps, obviously. And you can do some like weird supersets and giant sets. So you can do some like pistol squats. And those are going to fatigue you pretty damn fast. Then like jump right into like some Bulgarian split squats, do like high reps with that. CC squats, I saw Mike Israetel and a couple of guys posting a video where they did like 60 CC squats to failure just with body weight, with like minimal, like 5 seconds was the most that they were allowed to rest. And it looked like it was a pretty brutal exercise just in that. So I guess now your lower body training sessions are going to be pretty painful and like kind of like cardio. So, but I think you might be able to maintain even if you do it for a couple of months, if you're diligent with it.
Yeah, if someone has absolutely no equipment, then it might be tough, because I gotta find a way to apply resistance somehow. And if only have a body weight and gravity, I guess you can do single leg squats, but I don't know, balance is going to be an issue, I guess. But if you have some bands, like I have some really, really strong bands, I have a strong one that I haven't even unboxed. It's unopened. It's never been used, and it's going to be so fucking heavy. And I don't have a video right now, but what I'm going to do basically is, step on it and then load, put it in a front rack position. So, and then it's really, really stretched out at the top. And if it's really heavy, then it's fucking hard. And I would imagine that doing, goblet squats or whatever, squats with like that, it's going to be really, really hard. So if I do really, really slow tempo, of course, at the bottom it's going to be easy because, the band is less extended, but at the top it's going to be hard. Then I can, sit down and try to do some sort of leg extensions. I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out. Of course, you can apply the same thing, step on the band, hook it, or, loop it around your neck. Not like as if you try to kill yourself, but you know what I mean. It's really tough to explain without visual, but I think people will understand. And do Bulgarian split squats. Again, it's going to be pretty much, you will have to find a way somehow to load the bottom portion, because that's the really heavy or really hard part. Sorry, I'm getting sleepy. That's a really hard part to do without, because obviously bands provide the most resistance when they're extended. So I don't know, maybe you can do something like doing the banded stuff and then doing straight into single leg eccentrics only. You do a single leg eccentric, you raise yourself up, or then do another eccentric, something like that. I don't know. You can figure it out. And like I said, if you do a whole bunch, like if you do 50 rep sets, or you do a 30 to 50 rep set, and then you do like 20 sets every single day, I don't know, I think you will be able to maintain at least, because I guess this will be the time when we actually find out, because we like to cite research that, while maintaining is so easy. Well, I guess let's just find out how easy it is.
Yeah. Hey, like, don't worry, you have to skip a week. Don't worry, like, muscle memory is real, but nobody actually takes a week off ever because they're super fucking scared. So
yeah, exactly. Let's see how real it is.
Yeah.
And also another alternative strategy. Maybe now is the time to jump on steroids, because that steroids build muscle even if you barely train at all. So you might be able to actually come out on the other end more muscular than ever. And then when people ask you how you did it, you will be able to sell them an ebook on secret home workout.
I mean, I heard that research that, like, yeah, people build more muscle without training on steroids. But, like, do you think so far you've been busting your ass in the gym? Naturally, obviously, if now you got on a steroid cycle for the next 2 months, do you think you would like gain muscle or at least maintain everything without doing anything, just sitting on the couch? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, so I actually became I thought you were going to joke, but from what I gather, you're actually serious about the question.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, Jorn Trammelen posted this Bayesian research from '96, the 600 milligram study, and I used to cite it as well. But now that I'm a bit more keen or aware of PEDs and stuff, I actually mentioned this to Jorn that I'm really skeptical of the results, simply because they measured it via DEXA, and people gain weight. And as you know, if you gain weight simply by doing anything, like you don't do nothing, just gain weight, some amount is going to be lean body mass. So if people took testosterone and their body weight went up, testosterone drives water retention up. So I'm not really surprised that they also gain lean body mass. It could have been simply water weight, and DEXA doesn't differentiate between muscle and water. So as to answer your question, I don't know. I would be skeptical if I did nothing. Now, if I started taking like Trembolone and stuff, and I did the workout I mentioned, I am very confident that I would not get smaller. But yeah, just doing nothing, I would probably lose muscle, but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, and also like there are, like, I will be curious like what kinds of shit I will be able to come up with, because like we get really comfortable in the gym because everything is kind of custom made for that specific use. But I mean, I don't know, like I'm just looking around, like I have really heavy ass objects around me. Like I have a big fucking couch that I'm sitting on. Like, I don't know, but maybe there's a way to like use that for some purpose. Like,
squats.
Like somehow strap it onto me, like on my back. And maybe I can like lie under my bed and do leg presses, press the bed up.
Yeah.
But actually that might actually work. I don't know. Yeah, one last thing. Maybe the audience wants to hear this. Moms and parents on social media. It's just amazing. So I told my mom, like, I was feeling really down about this whole virus thing. And, sometimes some banter and some giggles are the best medicine in times of crisis. But yeah, so I told my mom that, like, Mom, by the way, like, the most depressing thing that I heard is that maybe these people that are dying from the coronavirus are gonna come back alive and are just gonna go around as zombies. And my mom's reaction was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. And I was like, well, I don't know, like the WHO said it. Like, I don't know. And then at one point I almost thought that she didn't buy it, but then the next day it's like, hey, so you're just kidding with this whole zombie thing, right? And then I sent a picture from Game of Thrones with some zombie kids. It's like, well, the WHO published this picture. and then eventually I told her that I was kidding, and then she said, like, Jesus Christ, I wanted to call your girlfriend whether you went insane. So she didn't actually believe me, but it was fun.
Oh yeah. Speaking of girlfriends, I forgot about the cardio workouts, because obviously cardio is also, the coronavirus mainly attacks your lungs, so a healthy cardiovascular system is it's a very good thing. So, moving in with your girlfriend and doing daily cardio workouts is another option, if possible, multiple times per day. Is encouraged, actually, if you have a girlfriend. Then look, I will have to talk to my girlfriend. I will have to tell her to come back sooner, because she's around 50 kilos, so that's a decent weight to squat. I can just squat her, I can do hip thrust with her. I can do the Brett Contreras home workout.
Yeah, I mean that's actually pretty serious as well. Like, if you have a partner to assist you, you can, like, my girlfriend is a bit heavier. She is about 75 kilos.
She?
I'm always doing that. It's terrible. I'm always mixing up the genders. Terrible. So she's around 75 kilos, and so actually she would be pretty good for a squat workout if she can get on my back somehow. She's a bit too heavy to hold her in a front rack position, or but
I mean, you can do bench presses and stuff, so
yeah.
Like, imagine how the discussion would go, honey. You know what I've been thinking? What? I would like to try out some new things. What do you have in mind? Want me to show you? And you start bench pressing her.
Yeah, that was my goal. Like, when we got together, my goal was to get so strong in the overhead press that I could press her over my head. That was my motivating goal for a while. And then I always just then ended up stopping the overhead pressing in the gym. But anyway.
Yeah, so another idea is to progressively overload your girlfriend. So basically what you can do is take your current girlfriend, do a couple of workouts, then dump her, find a heavier girl, and so on and so forth. So by June, you should be dating 400-pound women.
Yeah.
So,
or you can just make your current girlfriend heavier by...
Yeah, that's another idea.
Your girlfriend goes on a bulking diet, and then by the end,
Yeah.
you can squat some impressive
Yeah,
weights.
whatever food I'm not eating, I'm giving to her. So
Yeah.
so I'm 88 kilos. She's 50 something. By the time June comes around, I will be 80. She will be 70. So
Yeah. No, but actually, like, just another creative idea. Then soon we're gonna wrap this up because it's pretty late. Like, what is it? It's like 9 p.m. there.
almost 9. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, for example, I have a luggage that I'm just looking at right now. Just freaking go outside and collect some bricks and put your luggage full of bricks, and you will have a pretty freaking heavy, big and a bit bulky, but heavy dumbbell, essentially, that you can use for these, like, split squats or whatever. So it's always a thing.
Yeah. So like jokes aside, but I said for a long time that I want to build a home gym. I would much rather, like, when I see people buy these fucking expensive cars, like, 20,000 and 30,000 euro cars, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, for 20,000 euros, you can build a fucking amazing home gym. Now, of course, you can't buy machines, but you can get a very good squat rack, you can get a good bar, you can get a good adjustable bench, you can get a very good a set of adjustable dumbbells, some plates, and you're pretty much good to go. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, from 30,000, you can actually, I think, buy like a lot of things, like even machines and stuff. I did the math to build like a pretty kick-ass home gym. It came out something like $23,000 or something.
Yeah, I mean, Larry Doyle,
like,
for example, got a bunch of old Cybex stuff for pretty much next to nothing. But yeah, that's a silly offer. A bit pretty much an offer that he couldn't refuse, and it's not realistic to get something so cheap. So yeah, but if you're lucky, yeah, you can definitely, especially if you live in this place, like he's in Ireland. If you're in the UK or Ireland, something like that. But I mean, Romania, I mean, if I had to pay for shipping, it's not worth it. Like, for example, we got some stuff, and we paid, how much did we pay? I think it was 400 euros for 2 pieces of leg extensions lacquer, and 500 euros was the shipping, I think, or pounds, 500
Wow.
pounds, something like that. So the shipping was much more than, I know for sure that shipping was more expensive than the equipment itself. And still it came more, it was cheaper than buying it from here, obviously. Okay, anything else we missed? Like, I don't know, maybe should we touch on food sources and what we are planning on eating? Or is this more so common sense?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I did not have the mental strength to commit to start buying, like, freaking dry pasta and bags of rice and whatever. It was just like a step too far to me. Like, that's really the end of the world for me. Like, when I'm stocking up on freaking rice, like, I've never done that in my life. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of common sense. Just like if you can see the writing on the wall that things are gonna get like locked down and you won't be able to go to the store and buy good nutritious stuff on a regular basis, just start stocking up on non-perishable things that will last you for a while.
You know what's the really good part? Like, protein powder seems to be pretty expensive, cheap. I mean, sorry, inexpensive. Insofar as I've seen some sales. Actually, I have a 5 kilo bag of. Like, I was kidding yesterday, but not really. Like, I was joking that I have a 5 kilo bag of protein powder, milk protein unflavored. I bought a bunch of cocoa and a bunch of sweetener. I have tap water, so if shit hits the fan, I can just live off of protein sludge, and stuff like that. And I have some rice cakes, and I bought some instant noodles, so I'll be good.
Oh damn, man.
Oh yeah, we gotta mention this. Like, Romanians are idiots. Like, I'm sure many people are idiots, but Romanians, like, the Romanians fall for fucking everything. Like, we don't have any degree of science literacy, like, nothing. Like, dude, like, even a week ago, so apparently China has actually, so basically what happened is there has been a study has been registered for trial, meaning it has been registered as, so it has been resisted to start. So basically, they are just now wanting to try the study. And I already heard rumors in the gym that there has been found a cure, and it's vitamin C, and you have to inject it intravenously. And it's basically something like 20 milligrams per kilo, I think. Anyway, it comes down to 16 to 18 grams of vitamin C intravenously administered. Then I seen something today that you have to, gargle whatever, the term is, like, you do that thing in your...
It sounded like something else to me, but...
Yeah, so whatever. But the point is that I've seen something with hot water, because apparently the virus doesn't resist hot water. So you do that and you clean your airways, and then the virus is scared. Like, man, the amount of stupidity in Romania. Then, of course, there's the religious zealots who are like, this is, we have been so bad that God has decided to strike down on us. And, Jordan Peterson, if I wanted to be Jordan Peterson, I would say that indeed it is, because if you think about it, what has happened is pretty much we brought this upon ourselves because we are idiots and we don't respect basic hygiene protocols, or China didn't respect it, but whatever. And how Jordan mentioned that the flood has manifested itself in reality because there's been something in the US where people have been taking money away and the digs haven't been properly fortified, or whatever. They pretty much didn't use the sufficient material or sufficiently high quality material or something like that, and the dig, is it called a dig,
Dam,
the thing that prevents the river from flooding the city, and that pretty much happened. So Jordan was saying that this is almost like the flood story. So in a sense you can think of as God sending a disease upon us. I guess you can think of it that way. And then there is the whole conspiracy thinkers who are either saying that this is nothing but hoax and this actually doesn't exist, and this is just a way for, I don't know, some secret society to overtake the world and collapse the economy and society. Then there's the anti-vaxxers who say that this is just a way for the government to make, or the big pharma to make money from vaccines, which is again funny because I've seen some photos which I wanted to reshare, but I didn't. You see that's what happens when there is a disease and we don't have a vaccine for it. But of course, the anti-vaxxers turn the story upside down, outside in, whatever. You get the idea.
Yeah, but I mean, stupidity is really far-reaching, and I didn't want to mention this in the beginning, but all the people that were downplaying it for a long time, and a lot of those people are in our fitness industry. Some of them are otherwise super smart people, and 100,000+ people following them. And I can understand their sentiment in the beginning, downplaying it. It's just like another flu. The flu kills so many people. And the more ridiculous comments like, why are we so worried about this coronavirus? Like, obesity and diabetes are killing so many people. And I mean, I don't even think that I should be responding to those claims, because I think they're so silly that anybody listening to this can come up with a reason by themselves intuitively why these arguments are stupid. But
so yeah, there is a whole lot of idiotic comments going on, idiocy, idiots, morons going around. So pretty much every situation you can imagine, it has been speculated and used as a justification.
Yeah, and I don't know, and the arguments where I think Greg Knuckles posted about this, that obesity kills a lot of people. Like, why aren't we talking about that? It's like, can't you imagine that there are two things in the world that are bad, and they are equally shit, or not equally shit, but both of them are really, really bad on their own right, and you don't have to compare the two? I mean, it's like a really nasty analogy here would be like during the times of the Holocaust, for example. If someone said at the time, like, why are people freaking out about people being taken away to these concentration camps? It's like, people are dying from cancer and this and that every day. It's like, well, yeah, and that's really, really bad. And this other thing is really, really bad as well. So I don't even understand. And yeah, luckily, I think a lot of those people now just are forced to be quiet, because it is just blatantly obvious. Because you might think whatever you want, but you can see that the life is stopping around you. So
Yeah, well, technically it is just another flu. The difference is we have a vaccine because the flu has been around for so long. And even if it's not a perfect one, it still works. So it's like going back in time to the first time the flu appeared. And watch how many people killed that time around. And think about it, that was back when there was no international flights and stuff. So, it's just the flu. Tell that to people who die. Like, it's just the flu. Sweet.
yeah, the only very last thing, I don't want to keep you up, but I think it would be reminiscent to not touch on this is kind of what are our plans in terms of putting out content and things like that for the upcoming time period, because like I kind of stopped with fitness videos and stuff for now because I just feel weird about putting out something so trivial as that, like talking about getting a six-pack or this is how you get more muscular, when first of all, for a lot of people it's not even like practical. It's like talking about how to ride a private jet or something. It's like, well, I cannot go to the gym, so how I just saw Renaissance Periodization put out a video like the scientific leg hypertrophy day and like this is how you leg press and whatever. It's like, well, that is not happening for a lot of people, so it's time to make home workout videos.
Yeah, the gyms are still open in the US. Give them another week, maybe.
Well, one of my buddies, Dave McConey, was on the podcast a few times, just posted the Instagram story that the gyms in his area at least have been closed now for the next month at least.
That's what I'm saying. Give them another week and it's going to be closed over there too.
Yeah. So I don't know, what are your plans? Like, do you plan on putting out some specialized content appropriate for this period, or what do you think?
Yeah, like I said, I agree with you. I would feel a bit of a hypocrite to talk about, like, pretty much all of my stories, if you've seen, it's either what I do, what I eat, or it's coronavirus related. Like, anything else, what am I supposed to do? Like, latest science on how to optimize your muscle protein synthesis when people are worried about making an income. Like, I just feel like a hypocrite. So, of course, we can, and everyone is doing this, we can offer home workout plans, talk about, give nutrition suggestions on how to eat or how to maintain your diet or whatever, but this is one of those, like I said, it's pretty much obvious. Like, what am I supposed to eat if I can't go outside? Well, anything that has a long shelf life.
Yeah.
Okay, stuff like that. So I was thinking about doing more podcast episodes, but again, I just feel like a hypocrite if I, start. I think I will still release the episodes I have pre-recorded because I have time to edit them. But as far as recording new episodes, I don't know. I should because now would be the time, because of course a lot of people are home, so they have the time. But I just don't really have the mood for it, especially with the uncertainty that's going around. So I don't know. Maybe I'll ask people, to suggest some topics they are interested in and do that on Instagram or something like that. I do want to read. I have a couple of books to read. I want to finish Arnold's book, the Total Recall book. I want to read 12 Rules for Life because I haven't read it. I have a couple of books to read. I have Man's Search for Meaning, which I think would be a nice...
You cannot be a personal development influencer until you read that book, I heard.
Yeah. Apparently it's a very good one and should be very timely given our current circumstance. So I think I will just try to not lose my physique as much as possible. Try to make some improvements as far as I can. Read, maybe do some content here and there, and other than that, I don't know. Just try not to freak out.
Yeah. I'm having like different thoughts about what to do content-wise, because I almost feel like, a lot of people will be confined to their homes and they will be looking for things to do in their boring time. So I guess like you cannot really do wrong with whatever content you're putting out. Like even if you're just like nerding out about some muscle protein synthesis stuff, it's something for people to do. So it's now actually the general thing that I've been saying for a long time. A lot of other people like, why are we nerding out about all these irrelevant details? Just like fucking go to the gym, pick the weight up, put it down. Now you actually can't do that as much. Now it actually is the time to like nerd out on things that might not be that strictly useful because people have the time. So
do you live with a girlfriend or alone or?
Currently alone, but she might move in soon, which would be sweet.
Yeah, so my girlfriend is also away, so if she comes back, then pretty much everything will be, plans will change, and I'll just, I try to spend more time with her and make ourselves
make some babies, whatever.
Not what I was going to say. I wanted to say that we'll try to make steps towards our fitness goals together. But
yeah, it would actually be cool for my girlfriend to move in. I could help her getting into some nice healthy habits and whatever. Anyway, now we're just rambling too much bullshit. So yeah, I think this is a good time to wrap up. Hopefully this was a cool thing for people to listen to, and maybe we gave some encouragement or just something interesting to listen to. So thanks, András, for joining me. And so yeah, you wanna let people know where they can find you, or I guess this will be up on your platform as well.
Yeah, it will probably be on my platform as well. So
okay, so follow Andrei on the Muscle Engineer podcast, me on the SSD podcast, and yeah, we wish everybody strength and the power to hold on in this shitty period.
Yeah, and by the way, I just wanted to mention that if anyone wants to, start online coaching right now is the time. We will be giving coronavirus discounts. So if you want to move forward with your health and fitness goals from the comfort of your home, hit us up.
Yeah, I mean, really, I'm not going to push coaching much in this period, but, if you want some help with your home workouts and whatever and eating, then sure, we are here. We are the Fit Pros.